We will now call good evening, everyone. We will now call the Board of Adjustment meeting to order. We will now take attendance of all members present. When your name is called, please say here or indicate your presence by raising your hand. Tamara Lipscomb, I'm here. Thomas Thompson.
Here.
Kia Mills.
Here.
Okay. Joe Towns.
Here.
Charles Fagg.
Here.
Okay. And we also have Mayor Donald Gorham on the agenda, on the roll call. See him back there in the back. At this time, we'll have the adoption of the July 16, 2025 agenda.
I make a motion that we adopt July 16th, 2025 agenda.
Someone second?
I second that.
Okay. It has been moved and properly second that we adopt the agenda for July 16, 2025. Ready for the question? All in favor, let it be known by your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right, thank you. Approval of the minutes for June 21st, 2023, which was the last Board of Adjustment meeting.
I move we accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the minutes from the June 21st, 2023 Board of Adjustment meeting. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of your right hand. And that's unanimous. All right, now our item for consideration. Consideration of a variance request to deviate from the setback requirement for detached garages for a property located at 281 PENN Lake Drive, BA 202501. And before we hear from the public, I must read this request statement. Various request statement. This is an evidentiary hearing per North Carolina General Statute 160D-705 that sets forth the standards for granting a variance as follows. The applicant must present competent material and substantial evidence showing the existence of an unnecessary hardship imposed by the strict application of the regulation. Other witnesses may present competent material and substantial evidence that is not repetitive. In order to be considered an unnecessary hardship, evidence presented must show that the existing conditions are peculiar to the property and not common to the adjacent neighborhood. The existing circumstances must not be self-created as a result of actions taken by the property owner. And finally, personal circumstances may not be the basis for granting a variance. At this time, we'll hear from Drew, our planning board director, I'm sorry.
So just for those of you who are going to speak, you will have to be sworn. So when you come up, Claudia will swear you in as well, just so that you are aware of that procedure. Thank you, Madam Chair, and the rest of the Board of Adjustment members who are here tonight. James Lambert is petitioning for a front yard setback variance for a detached garage at the property located at 281 PENN Lake Drive, Rockingham County, tax parcel number 165106. The property is zoned residential agricultural 20, RA 20, which requires detached garages to be located in the rear yard 15 feet behind the principal structure or in the side yard with a 15-foot setback per Article 5, Section 4 of the Reidsville zoning ordinance. This request is to allow for a detached garage to be built in the side yard extending beyond the front foundation wall of the dwelling. Typically, detached garages located in the side yard are prohibited from extending into the front yard. This variance request would allow for the detached garage to be located in the side yard, extending into the front yard, providing no more than a 30-foot deviation from these standards. I included that because of the size of the structure that he's going to do, so if the entire structure were in the front yard, it'd be no more than 30 feet. No variance is being requested for the side yard setback requirement of 15 feet. They have more than enough space to accommodate that. The applicant notes that existing soil conditions, sloping topography, rocky terrain, and the location of their septic tank as the reasons for this variance request. The applicant states that these conditions prohibit the detached garage from being located entirely in the side or rear yard of the dwelling. You will note in the memo that I've included Article 5, Section 4 for your reference. This section talks about the setback standards for detached garages. And specifically on the second page, you'll see item number 2, where it states no part of the structure shall be located in the front yard. So this is specifically what they're requesting a variance from, is that item number 2. The property owner desires to construct the detached garage to the side and the front of the existing dwelling and intends to use it for storage of personally owned vehicular equipment. The closest point of the detached garage to the property line in the front would be over 100 feet. The closest point to the detached garage in the side property line would be over 250 feet. And the closest point to the detached garage to the side of the dwelling would be over 150 feet. So this is significantly away from any property lines and any other existing structures. Per the Rockingham County tax records, the dwelling at 281 Penn Lake Drive was constructed in 2003, and at the time of construction, the Reidsville zoning ordinance was in place. So everything up until now has been in compliance with the ordinance standards. Article 10, Section 3, rules for granting variances. I'm just going to go over this. This is the findings of fact that you will have to reference when you make your motion for approval or denial. So a variance from the terms of the ordinance shall not be granted by the Board of Adjustment unless and until it shall make the findings of the following. 1, that a special condition or circumstance exists which are not applicable to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. That would be the land conditions that we're referencing. The literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of a right commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district, that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from actions created by the applicant, and that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. As you are aware, it is the applicant's responsibility to provide evidence and materials that will allow the board to make appropriate decisions and take appropriate action. Voting, Article 10, Section 6. So in here, I reference a full board. There are 7 members total. A concurring vote of 4/5 of the total members of the board shall be necessary to grant a variance from the provisions of the ordinance. Currently, total board membership is 7, and the vote is based on current board membership. A 4/5 vote of 7 is 5.6, and we will round that up to 6 members. So the people who are not here, they count as a yay vote in favor. Therefore, each finding must pass with a vote of 6 members. Are there any questions?
Clarification, then, does only 4 of us need to vote for this, or does all 5 of us need to vote for this?
So with the 2 that are absent counting in favor, we would need a minimum of 4.
Just a minimum of 4. Okay.
Ideally, all 5, but a minimum of 4, yes. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, is someone here to speak for the variance? Yes. Okay. Yes, sir. If you could come up, see Claudia to be sworn in, and then give your name and your address once you get to the podium. She'll have to swear you in.
Just speak into the microphone.
Please state your name.
James Daniel Lambert.
Please raise your right hand. I'm going to read the following statement. Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the evidence you shall give will be the truth, and nothing but the truth?
And thank y'all for taking this time to hear my request, I guess. I also have the owner, Mr. Carter, owns the Mainstream Earthworks. He has soil and grading experience of over 30 years to back up some of the stuff that you have in your packet and some of the stuff I'm going to bring up. So if y'all need to hear from him, we'll bring him up also. The reason for this is building the building to be able to store the equipment that I need to take care of the land. And also the reason for that is because where your ordinance says I need to put the building, I can't put the building there because of septic tanks, leach lines, recovery lines, and the grade or the condition of the soil. We purchased outside the city limits, unaware that we were in the ETJ. Have never heard of it before, but we've always lived in a county, so we've never been down this road before. We were not informed of the ETJ by the buyer's agent or the listing agent or the former owners, whom we had met before purchasing the property. We have neighbors that have structure in front of their homes. You have pictures of those in your packets showing those structures in front of homes. We went to the county office to get the permit for the building. They're the ones that told me that I was in the ETJ and I would need to come here to get the permit. We want to be in compliance. We want to work with the city best to our ability, of course, and the location and all this. Requesting a place in this building is where we want to put it is the only feasible spot for the layout of the land, the property, and what the land has given us. One thing we found after purchasing the house is literally built on a firm foundation. The whole property is nothing but a rock. Where the location of the house, and you can see in the picture, all of it slopes back. One of the questions I had is why the house is put back there and not at the front of the property or the top of the knoll, and they said it was because it was a solid rock. In that picture, you can see there is a mound you can see in the picture right in front of the house, and it runs to the right towards where I'm going to put the building. That is one solid rock all the way across. After attempting to get the area ready for the building, I went back to the last owner and I was asking him about those stones, those rocks that's on the property, and he said that they tried to dig that out so it wouldn't have water run off towards the house. He said in doing that, when they started doing the grading, the guy with the loader and doing the grading had dug a hole big enough to bury the loader in, and he never got to the bottom of the rock. So in doing that, there's no way to really move all the rock without blasting. If we go to use that, it's going to destroy the foundation of the home. We also have a hand-built stone bridge on the property that was built by the PENN family that's over 100 years old. I do not want to do anything to disrupt that. And also my neighbors own PENN Lake. The dam that holds that lake is also hand-built and laid by stone. I don't want to disrupt anything there. And by removing the rocks to be able to put this where you say I need to put it would be impossible for the most part. One of the things we could do is put trees in front of the property next to the road to kind of block the home, but also this where the state maintained road ends, you can't even see my house. So this is off a gravel road that leads to the house. So our septic tank, leach lines, as I've already brought up, stretches all the way across the back of the property, as you can see in the picture that was drawn. The excess land behind the home is a steep slope down to creeks and natural springs that feed PENN Lake. The rocks on the property are too large to move and wouldn't want to blast, as I've already brought up, because I don't want to destroy the bridges that's there. And that, from back in the early 1900s when that bridge was built. Mr. Carter is here, as I'd said before, if you have any questions as far as any particulars on the grading or moving of the rock. In preparing the ground for where it's at now, we run into multiple rocks that was as big as the loader he was using to move around already. So it come to a point where we just had to stop. So we have, the area what is presented where to put the building is the only feasible place to put the building so I can store the equipment to be able to maintain the land to the level it needs to be maintained at. Any questions?
Questions?
Mr. Lamb, so looking at the pictures, this three-car, I'm assuming that's a three-car garage, that's one of your neighbor's property, or is that on your property?
Can I come look at that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have a copy of it. Yes, sir, that is the neighbor
Okay.
in front of me.
Okay. All right. And the trees that you're talking about for as a buffer, what kind of trees would you be using or planning to show that as a buffer right there? What have you got in mind?
Hardwood.
Hardwood?
Yeah, any type of hardwood, something like that. I don't like pines.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But in that picture, I will show too, the state maintained road
Yeah. Yeah.
stops like right up here. That's the edge where my property line comes up.
Okay.
Just for, you through?
Yeah, I'm through.
Well, just for the information on the board, I rode out and looked at the property. Is the area in the back there where you got the PENN flags, is that the area you're talking about putting the building?
The little flags?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir.
As he mentioned, this thing is way off the road. And it's on a gravel road, there's only one house beyond him, I think.
Yes,
And
sir.
I did notice, as I was turning around in his driveway, a rock outcrop, small rock outcrop. They tend to be like icebergs. What's above the ground's not much, what's under it's pretty significant. So I think he's got a reasonable request.
And I agree, I mean, right after the city took this in, just for my curiosity, when I was working here, I rode down through there, and you're right, you cannot see your house from the road and everything else, so. And I agree, I think he's got a reasonable request.
That's one of the reasons I like it. I like being all sort of by myself, but.
Any other questions for Mr. Lamb? Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak for the variance? Hearing none, is anyone here to speak against it?
Chairman, I would like to hear from Mr. Carter if he...
Okay, absolutely. Mr. Carter, could you come forward? We'll have to get you sworn in.
Please state your name.
Joseph Porter.
Mr. Carter, what is it specifically that your job is that you're doing?
Well, I own a grading excavation company that I started about 7 years ago, but I've been in the industry for the past 30 years. I've done everything from land sale developments, stream restoration, civil engineers, dam construction, streets, pipe, about anything you can name of.
All right. Sorry, I was just trying to check to see what level of qualification
Yes,
that
sir.
you're presenting testimony into the...
Yes, sir.
Into the record. Rock does cover all of that area.
Yes, Yes, I've dealt with rock, I've blasted rock, moved rock, and that area out there is covered up pretty good with it. There's any suitable area, that's the only place that I see, my professional opinion, that he could put the structure at. Just beyond that, right there with his question, there's a rock outcrop, it's just a pile of rock. We poked around in there and wasn't really anything you can move. And back behind this house, it's just a drop off, a slope. It's an outcrop of rock, I don't know, and it's got, big trees on it. There's a stream adjacent to it that leads right under that bridge he's talking about. So I don't really see anywhere else that's feasible that you can do anything without really causing a big impact to the environment around that home.
That's what I wanted to further check. So.
Any other questions for Mr. Carter? No, thank you, Mr. Carter. Uh-huh. Okay.
So since this is a variance request, if there's no more public comment, when you move into the voting, you will have to vote on each of the 4 findings of fact, as I stated. So you'll read each of those findings of fact and take a vote.
Okay.
And the motion for approval or denial will be made at the end.
Okay. In the public comments?
You want me to read?
Okay.
Okay. The variance from the terms of this ordinance shall not be granted by the Board of Adjustment unless and until it shall make a finding of the following. The first one is that special conditions and circumstances exist which are not applicable to other land structures or buildings in the same district. You got to call for a vote.
Okay. So we do make a motion, or we just
Just make a vote, either agree or disagree.
Okay. All agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 2, that literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of a right commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance.
All agree?
Read that the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant.
All agree?
And 4, that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district.
All agree? Okay. Now, hearing that, will someone make a motion to accept the...
Make a motion that we grant him the variance.
Okay, can we get a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. It has been moved and properly second that we grant the variance request tonight. All in favor? Okay. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Next on the agenda, well, we'll wait, give her a minute, is the director's report.
Thank you all for the pleasure of serving in the capacity of director for you. We really don't have a lot that's been approved this past month.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know I mentioned a few things last month, but none of those have come to fruition in the last 30 days. So we've had a couple of permits issued for small additions, residential stuff, but nothing commercial to really speak of. Still in the works.
Okay, good.
Don't know if I mentioned last time that the Popeyes did get site plan approval. They got that towards the end of last month, so I don't remember if I mentioned that at that meeting. But the Popeyes did
First
get
I've heard of Popeyes.
site plan approval.
Okay.
It was on the hush-hush until they got approval.
Where is that
It will
site?
be going at the Lowe's Home Improvement out parcel. The Lowe's Home Improvement out parcel. To the, if you're facing Lowe's, it's on the right-hand side, but it's actually on the southern portion of the property. No permits have been issued yet, other than a zoning permit, so no construction permits. But they do have site plan approval, and they're working through construction approvals.
Awesome.
So that's the only thing that I can bring to you, and that's been in the works for a while. The developer for that project, kept it kind of quiet until we got any approvals, so.
Deal.
Once construction starts, about how long do you think it would take them to finish?
We haven't gotten a time frame from them. I will say this project's moved a little slower than some others. I would anticipate a year at most. That's typically kind of what we see, but I have not been given a timeline by the developer.
Awesome.
That's really all I have for an update.
Well, thank you, Drew. How's your first few weeks been going as director? I bet.
Very busy. I will give Jason his credit where it's due. I didn't quite realize how busy he was. Yeah, lots going on. It's been a pleasure. But it's very, very busy, very fast paced.
I bet. I bet. Oh, we know you're going to do a good job.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Planning board member comments. I'm definitely going to welcome our newest member, Mr. Charles Fagg. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustments.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you. Like I said, I've been knowing Mr. Fagg since I was probably about 6 years old. So it's a welcome addition. Any comments from the board? Anything? Okay. Well, hearing none, would someone make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So move.
Second.
Okay. All right, meeting adjourned.